Hi everyone, my name is Dawson. I recently graduated GCU with their ABSN nursing program, and I've been asked a whole bunch of questions, whether it's on YouTube and in person, mainly by people who are interested in the program and looking to get into it, or in the program and currently have questions. So this is a comprehensive list of all the questions I've been asked. Little frequently asked questions list for you. Little overview since my other videos kind of cover some of this information, but really it's just based on a lot of comments that I've been asked in my previous videos. So we'll go over everything. It's sort of organized, but yeah, this is stuff that you definitely have questions on. So hopefully I'll be able to answer them. So here's finances. I was asked how to do finances. I did both FAFSA and private loans. This covered all of my tuition and living expenses. I took out, I think I took out 80K in loans, I took out $60,000 in private loans, and then the other bit was from FAFSA. I tried to live on the frugal side, but I needed those extra funds to cover my living expenses like rent, food, and gas. Really had no other expenses besides that because I'm just studying all the time. I did have some savings and that helped me quite a bit. So if you have some, use them. So I've been asked this a whole bunch, but can you work during the program? Yes. Will you be able to or want to? Probably not. This program's stressful. You're going to be stressed very much. I lost a bunch of weight during the program, along with a bunch of the other guys. Some people put on weight. However stress affects you, it's going to hit you hard. Adding work onto that is not something you're really going to want. If you're in between a rock and a hard place, by all means, like work if you have to. I just would seriously recommend not working in semester one because that's the hardest semester. It's a near constant. What is a good metaphor? It's a near constant head bashing. You're quite literally drinking through the fire hose. Every day. Every day you're drinking from the fire hose, whether that's information and time commitments and whatnot. After semester one, you can definitely work a part-time job. Full-time, maybe iffy. Not may. It will be very iffy, but part-time for sure. The thing is, the schedule is so variable, and we'll cover the schedule here in a second, that pulling a full-time job is practically impossible. Part-time is doable, but you're going to need a lot of flexibility with your hours. So a lot of my colleagues ended up becoming, either they already were or they became techs. So they would be like a nurse aide, technician in the ER or on one of the floors, and they would just pull shifts whenever there were openings. If you can do that, I would recommend that. It's a little bit of money in your pocket on days that you can swing it. It's not too stressful, but overall, that's what I recommend for working. This was a funny one for me. Do they drug test? Yeah, absolutely they do. Just like any good nursing program. You should be taking a drug test before you start. You may actually be in semester one. I couldn't quite remember. But they'll also test you again if they suspect anything. Like they'll tell you to go get tested. I didn't see that happen. Didn't ever hear of it happen. The thing is, it's like, why are you going to risk it? Like, I had quite a few friends in the program that were massive stoners beforehand, and they all quit because they're serious about becoming a nurse, and that's what's required. So, in short, yes, they do drug test. Can you take time off? Yeah, and no. We were told during orientation, don't make any big plans like a wedding or a long vacation, like a week-long vacation or something. Like, don't plan stuff in advance like that while you're in the program or for the duration of the program, because you're not going to be able to do that. Stuff will come up. You don't know. Like, here's the thing. You know your schedule for your semester. Whatever semester you're in, you know only that schedule. And stuff will and does change fairly frequently during that semester. But you don't know anything for the next semester, much less the last semester, which could be, practically a year away. That being said, there's these periods of time where you definitely can take time off. Like there's going to be 2 to 5 days where really you're just hanging out at home studying. You may get together with a study group, stuff like that prior to exam, or maybe freshly after an exam where you don't have labs or a clinical, and you can just go on a quick little getaway trip. Like a bunch of people would go to the beach. Like a couple people went up snowboarding. We went to the Salt River and went tubing, stuff like that. You can definitely swing that. But if there's anything that pops up or goes on, you're kind of screwed, because you cannot make up mixed clinical shifts unless the shift was canceled by a professor, which happened to me. If they get super sick and they can't find a substitute, then they'll cancel it and reschedule you. But you can't make up missed labs and you can't make up missed exams. You have very, very specific circumstances where you have to get like a doctor's sign off if you're sick, saying that like you need this much time off or whatever, if you're in surgery, stuff like that. And they're kind of brutal with it. Like, what was it? I think one of my classmates or someone I knew had someone in their family pass away, and they asked the school, hey, can I get like a day or two to, go be with my family? Like, I know we got an exam going on. Can I make it up when I get back? And they told them no, like that. We're really sorry that happened, but no, you can't do that. They were really pissed off about it, but honestly, that's what you're going to be dealing with here. They're fairly strict with this, but there are times where you can take some getaway time. So is in-person required? So do you have to be in person for this program? This one confused me when I first saw it, because yes, you absolutely do. Like you can't just be a nurse from the other side of the country, taking care of a patient all the way out here in Arizona. But I understand it a little bit because it's labeled as a hybrid program. But the thing is, you have to live near the campus site where you're going to be attending, because you're going to go in person to that campus site at the minimum 1 to 2 days a week, which is rare. Like most weeks, it's going to be like 3 to 4 days you're going there, or maybe one day you're going into the hospital, another day you're at lab, the following day you have an exam, then you have a day off, and then you have another lab. All that stuff's in person. So just because it's hybrid and accelerated doesn't mean you can go be living in a different state and go to school here. Oh, actually, small disclaimer. I had a girl in my program who lived in San Diego and would fly out here to attend all this stuff. She had like a small room where she would stay, but she still kept her job in San Diego. And she would fly back and forth all the time. Unfortunately, she did not pass semester 1 and join us with graduation. So keep that in mind. So on the same note, how many days per week are you on campus or in clinicals? Some days some weeks it may be 1 to 2 days. Others it's 4 to 5 days. It's super varied schedule, so you got to be really flexible. I'll briefly cover the schedule here in a second. Are weekends free? Sometimes. I had most of my clinical shifts actually on Saturdays and Sundays. I enjoyed that. It sucked because I couldn't go to church. But you may not have that. You may have shifts on Mondays. You may have shifts on the week. But just the way my clinical shifts were handed out to me was that they were on the weekends. So yeah, your weekends can be free, just depends. But still, you should be studying during those free weekends. And here's the schedule I was talking about. This is 2 screenshots I just took. This is of level 1 in Boz A from Boswell campus, the Sun City. So this is cohort A for the Sun City campus during their first semester. And these are like events right here. This is the master schedule that you get access to. You're going to get access to this once you get enrolled and started. They're going to give you a link. You just bookmark that. And you really need to check that every day, because there will be times where you wake up, you check it, and you're like, holy crap, they just added XYZ onto my calendar for this afternoon, and that wasn't there yesterday. That rarely happens, but it does happen. And typically they try to give you an email about it. Say like, hey, last minute change, like just heads up. But every once in a while, some stuff will slip through the cracks, and you got to be prepared for that, because you can't miss stuff. If you get missed, or if you miss an event, like clinical or lab, you're gonna be out on the street. But yeah, this is what it looks like. These blue events are labs or practice labs. Yellow events are tests, and orange events are explore mores. It's like a video recording, or not a video recording. It's a Zoom call of all the material that's going to be on an exam. So the professor will hold an explore more prior to an exam, usually a week before, going over all the material, going over practice questions for all of us, and they'll ask you a bunch of questions. If you have any questions, you'll ask the professor, and it's really helpful. They used to record those. I don't think they do anymore. They changed that at the last minute for us. We were all very mad because that was great study material. They may have reverted that change. I'm not sure. And these purple events here, these are clinicals and sims. So since it says CI right there after the 300, that means it's a sim date, so a simulation lab. And these orange events, you don't really got to worry about those. It's like other additional stuff. Some of these are actually good, like test taking strategies. You'll hop on a Zoom call. They'll go over methods on how to study for nursing school, see what your study methods are, see areas of improvement for you. It's just additional resources for you guys. Definitely take advantage of those, especially in semester 1. After that, you pretty much got it figured out. All right, and then when are the breaks? This is pretty much the same for every semester. You got your 15-week-long semesters, and then you got like 2-3-week-long breaks. Christmas break, I think, was 3 weeks long, and all the others were like 2 weeks long, 10 days to 2 weeks. But honestly, when you're in the middle of it, you're ready to get back in the groove of school by the end of break. You want to get the show on the road, you want to get through it. But there are breaks. And then the HESI. What is the HESI like? This is a twofold question, because you have your HESI entrance exam, which is a requirement to get into the program. That's basically like an ACT or an SAT that we all took in high school, but you're going to add in anatomy and physiology. For that, use NurseHub and Quizlet. I want you to remember that. Quizlet. There are some amazing Quizlets on there. I paid like $50 for NurseHub, studied that for 2 weeks, then found a Quizlet the night prior to my HESI exam. It's like I hit gold, or struck gold. It was amazing. But you also have HESI exams. These are different types throughout the entirety of the program. These are built as a mock NCLEX. So in level 1, I think you have 1 or 2 HESIs. Yeah, but you're going to have one for like your class. So foundations, like nursing foundations in level 1, you're going to have one HESI based on that material. But it's built and structured similar to an NCLEX. So it's getting you in the groove of answering questions like the NCLEX. It scores like the NCLEX. And so your first semester taking those HESI exams, you're not going to do well on them. You're going to get some bad scores. After that, you're going to slowly improve. And you end up taking more and more HESI exams as each semester goes on. So I think semester 4, we took like 6 HESI exams. Some of them took 3 to 4 hours. But they're very helpful because you know what? They set us up really well for the NCLEX. Not one of us in our graduating class failed the NCLEX. So really good stuff. But those are graded. They go towards your grade. You get, I think, 2 per HESI exam. You get one that's like a trial run, and then another that's the actual HESI. And whatever one has the higher score, they take that score, and then there's like a grading scale that they give for that. It's not bad. Really doesn't impact your grade a whole lot, but it's useful for the long term. And then the lectures. This is why this class is hybrid. You have a video format. So they're all recorded. They're pretty much just voiceovers of a PowerPoint presentation. The professor records this PowerPoint or records this lecture, and some of it they read off the slide. The other stuff they really elaborate on the material, go into more depth. And the nice thing is it goes really into depth. Some of it is just so in depth it's overwhelming. So what we would do is we would put on lecture videos in preparation for an exam, because we know what lecture videos to watch since they're sorted by chapter and topic. And then we would just put those on in the background. We just, like our whole study group, we'd sit on a couch, put the lecture video on the TV on YouTube, and we'd just sit there, watch, and then we'd pause it every once in a while and be like, yo, I have a question about that. Let's talk about it real quick. And then you'd brainstorm it, figure it out, and keep it going. Those are very long, very long. Some of those classes, their lecture videos, if you're watching all the lecture videos for an exam, you could be watching like 12 hours worth of lecture videos. Hence why you should watch them on 2 times speed. You get used to it very fast. All right, how to study. I got this in the comments once. I actually ended up making a YouTube video on this that's really in depth. It's a little long. It's like an hour long, but it's what you guys want. Like, it's a full in-depth breakdown of all of my study methods, what worked for me, what didn't, what I recommend. If you want the Spark Notes edition, you watch all the lectures, watch the Zooms, then you go to the Explore More, you do some Quizlets you find online, and then you do as many practice questions as you can. You can find those all over the place, from the back of the book to resources you have in your online class, to stuff that you can buy on Amazon, like practice question books. And then you quiz your peers, and they quiz you, and then you should be able to test. We would typically spend, at the bare minimum, 3 days. 3 pretty much full days studying for an exam. That would allow me, for the vast majority of my exams, to pass them. Every once in a while, I'd have to whip out a nice full 5 days of hardcore studying to pass an exam, because I would struggle on some material. And then we have the dosage calculation tests. These are common throughout any nursing program. But for our program at GCU, at least with the ABSN, each exam, no matter what class you're taking, what exam you're on, you have 3 to 4 med math questions on it. But at the beginning of each semester, you also have a specific test. It's basically a quiz that has 10 med math questions on it. You have to get, I think it's a 90% or higher, or like an 80% or higher to pass that. No, I think it's a 90% or higher to pass that, the med math. If you don't get that, then you have to redo it. You get 3 chances to take that exam. If you don't pass it, you fail. You fail the class. So that's the only exam that if you fail the exam, you genuinely fail the class. But I only heard of that happening for one girl. I didn't know her, but it's just because she had really bad test anxiety, and it ate away at her. But this really doesn't happen much. And then discussion questions. If you're not familiar with what these are, These are used in lieu of physical participation. So if you were going to an in-person lecture, you would not have discussion questions, or at least not as many. I could be wrong in some instances, but from my understanding, that is the case. How you're going to want to do these, because they're going to take up a lot of your time and they're just tedious, is Monday, first thing, or even Sunday, you're going to write them down. So you're going to write down your initial post. I would do this in like a Google Doc and just save my like writing prompt, my post, and then I'd post it first thing Monday. And then I would do 2 responses each day for the next 3 days, because that's what GCU requires. You can't just do them all at once. Sometimes I would do them all at once, but I'd save them in my Google document, and then I would just post them to the class according to what the class requires. So 2 posts per day for 3 days. The downside is it just takes up time, but you have to do it because it's a good percentage of your grade. So if grades are important to you at all, do them. Like, there's going to be weeks where you just don't do discussion questions, and then you're going to see how it impacts your grade. And then you're going to be like, holy crap, I'm kind of a Dumbo. That sucks. I don't like how my grade just went from an A- to a B. Like, that's wild, just because I didn't do discussion questions. So that's what I recommend for it. And then how are exams structured? So when we're looking at each class, some of them have only 3 exams. Some of them have up to 5. You want to be careful of the ones of the classes that only have 3 exams, because if you fail one exam, you have to do really well on the other 2 exams to maintain your grade point average, or your exam average that you need to pass the class. Each exam has 3 to 4 medication math questions, and then you have 3 to 4 select all that apply questions. Those select all that apply, SATA, I'm going to call them SATA questions. If you get one of those check boxes wrong, the entire question's wrong. So it's not like the actual NCLEX where they give you partial credit. So that sucks, but it teaches you the hard way how to really trust your gut and trust your intuition. But the nice thing is the entire rest of the exam is multiple choice. Most exams are 50 questions, the vast majority of them. Your finals will either be like 75 questions or 100 questions. I think there was like 1 or 2 final exams that was over 100 questions. But they're all timed. But really, you're not going to run out of time. You have so much time. You have like 3 hours to do those questions. These are taken in person on your campus. They're done on school computers. You're like in a big room with everyone else. Sometimes they'll split you up by cohorts. Sometimes they'll bring you all together in the same room. But there's going to be proctors around. So, they're watching you. It's on like a locked browser. You're given like scratch paper, a calculator, and a pencil, and earplugs too, if you want. Don't cheat. We actually heard of 2 people doing some really funny business, like they had stashed things under the desk prior to the exam and then would go sit down in those seats. Because of that, now we have assigned seats that are randomly given out to you. So you can thank those 2 cheaters for that pleasant surprise, because otherwise you just sit with your like study group or sit with your friends, the people that you knew better than others. Couldn't do that anymore. But yeah, you cheat, you get kicked out, and you get blacklisted. So your career as a nurse is over, or your aspiration to be a nurse is over. So yeah, just don't do that. If you fail, an exam, nothing happens. Just a blow to your self-esteem, honestly. Sob on the ride home from the exam. I don't know. Did that a couple times. But you just gotta maintain a 76% or higher for your exam average to pass the class. So say you have 3 exams. If you get like a 70 on your first exam in a class, then you have to get like an 80 on both of your other exams, or like a 78 on both your other exams, 78 or higher, something like that. Because the requirement is you have to maintain a 76% or higher for your exam average in a single class to pass that class. And that applies to every single class. Now, if you take your final and your final grade gets posted and you see that you did not get over a 76% average in your exam scores, then you failed the class and you're going to have to try and repeat. Small stipulation here, they do curve. So after everyone in the entire U.S. for GCU nursing has taken an exam, they get a board together, and they review all the data, and if they're like, oh, hey, 90% of the students didn't get this question wrong, I wonder why, let's look at this, then they'll just throw it out. I don't know what the process is that they use, but most exams, they'll throw out like one question. Every once in a while, you'll get exams where nothing gets thrown out. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll get an exam where like 2, 3. I even had an exam that got 4 questions thrown out. But if you got that question right and it got thrown out, then you don't get any extra points. You just get extra points for the ones that you got wrong and that question was thrown out. Anyways, so if you do fail a class, then you appeal to a panel. You have to do some paperwork and whatever. And they decide if they're going to let you be readmitted and retake that class that you failed. If you failed more than one class, then they review all the data, everything. They look at your participation. They look at your effort, your attitude, what professors say. They got some pretty comprehensive method of looking at all that. But they get to decide if you get back in or not. And you only get one readmittance. So if they do let you back in to retake, say you failed pharmacology, so you only have to retake pharmacology, and you fail it again, you're donezo. You can't come back to GCU for nursing. You got to go elsewhere. So pretty dang lenient if you ask me. It doesn't feel like it in the moment, but now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm like, really? It's pretty lenient, but some of those exams are just brutal. All right, overall, how hard is the program? Hard, very hard, but it should be, right? Like, we're all going to be nurses, or I am already a nurse, woohoo, and you're all soon going to be nurses, fingers crossed, and we're adults. Like, we're going to be saving lives. It should be difficult. If you want an exact number, 40%. 40% of people will not pass nursing school, at least with this program. I saw that figure before I started on some Reddit post or something, and I kept track of the math for my cohort and my entire level at Sun City, and sure enough, I think it was like 39. It was like 39% of people failed. Most of the failures occur in semester 1, so they don't get past semester 1. I think we lost one person in semester 2 and one person in semester 3. But we lost like 11 or 12 people in semester 1. So I guess it's kind of like a coin toss, but really it's down to your effort. Like, a lot of people think that they're going to be able to get through nursing school, but when they're in the thick of it, motivation comes and goes. It's about your dedication. Like, are you really dedicated to this or not? So be dedicated, not motivated. That's my advice. All right, dress code. I, funny enough, didn't really think about this, but I got this question. You're going to be wearing all white shoes for labs and clinical. Like, the logo has to be white. The entire shoe has to be white. And then you're going to have purple scrubs. This is only for labs and clinicals, though. When you're going to an exam, you can wear normal clothing. Obviously, for gals, you cannot be wearing some some crop tops and booty shorts. They they made that very clear during orientation, and just be presentable, professional, um, but like not like wearing a suit or anything. Just wear normal clothing. But for your white shoes, I recommend Clove. They have some good nursing shoes. Um, they're really easy to clean up because you're gonna get really dirty. You're gonna have wild human liquids and stuff get on your shoes, and they're pretty easy to clean. Wipe off, toss them in the wash with some bleach, come out like new. And then your purple scrubs, these have to be embroidered with a GCU nursing logo. GCU does not embroider them, and you cannot do it yourself, but they contract that out to Apparel Pro. They have a physical location in Tempe, which I would drive to, but they also have a website, so you can order the clothing there. If you do end up getting purple scrubs like on Amazon or something, which I did because I'm a guy. There's not a whole lot of options for guys for scrubs that fit me. So I found some scrubs that fit me on Amazon, and I took them to Apparel Pro, and they embroidered them, and it takes 2 days. And then they call you up, say it's ready, and there you go. They're not too expensive, but it's not like they're dirt cheap. If you really need an extra pair, there should be a donation box, like if you have a locker room on campus or whatever. I'm not sure what other campuses' layouts are, but in ours, there's a big room with a bunch of tables and lockers and a big whiteboard, printer and whatnot. And there's also a box in the corner where people would donate scrubs. I am now finished with my program. I have 3 sets of scrubs and a big sweater, all GCU purple. I'm going to take those and donate them because I don't need them anymore, and someone may want an extra pair of clothing. So if you get desperate, if you want an extra set, grab some from that box. All right, opening dates or acceptance times. They'll accept you kind of whenever, but the start times are in January, May, and September. So spring semester, January, summer semester starts in May, and then fall semester starts in September. And then, say you start in January, then you would have, spring semester, summer semester, and fall semester, but then you would also have that 4th semester. So you would do spring semester again, or like the following January. You know what I mean? Yeah, but once you meet all the requirements, they're going to accept you in. They'll tell you what places have open seats. Pretty much all of them have open seats. This may be changing as the program has been getting more popular. So yeah, you'll just be in contact with your counselor. They'll tell you where you can go, and what campuses have a seat for you. You choose that, and then you just wait for the start date to happen. It's very fast, by the way. Do they take transfer students? Yeah, I didn't really know anyone that had transferred, but they absolutely do. You have to do a lot more like paperwork and like meeting certain criteria. I don't know what these are, so I can't answer that question for you. But someone that can is the GCU counselor, which you'll have to talk to anyways. So if you want to transfer to GCU, contact their counselor. They'll work with you on everything, do all the paperwork that you need to get done. First off, see if you're eligible, and then if you are, they'll get that process rolling. And then accreditations. A lot of people have asked this question to GCU because I don't know why. GCU has been in some legal hot water before. But yeah, GCU is accredited regionally. I didn't write this down, but I know they're accredited regionally by the Higher Education Learning Commission. HELC. Yeah. And then also for nursing by the CCNE, which I listed here. I've heard of no issues with licensing, accreditations. Like if you get your degree from GCU, get your BSN, are you going to have any issues getting your master's elsewhere? No, absolutely not. I don't see why you would, because it's very good college. I did my first degree here just because it's a private university. People question it, but it's solid. All right. There's a lot of people from California that go to GCU, and myself included. And this was a question that I was curious about before getting into the program and had to figure out myself. And this was a question people asked me since then. But will California accept you after graduation? Yeah, you just got to meet all the requirements. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on the California BRN website, Board of Registered Nurses. You're going to see what the requirements are to license by examination. That's the keywords there. They're going to list off a bunch of prerequisite classes that you have to have in addition to your nursing degree. So pretty basic. It's like, I don't know, chemistry, anatomy. The one that can catch people out is communication classes. I took those at a junior college. You have to have 2 communication classes, and I was fine. But then you also need like a sociology class. You got some other stuff. But you can check the website. It's pretty simple. If you did your general education college classes pretty much anywhere in the U.S., you should have all those classes. If not, it's going to take you like 3 months to take them, and they should be dirt cheap. But yeah. So they will accept you after graduation. I am proof of it. I am starting to work in 2 weeks in the ER back in California. So yeah. What campus should you go to? There was a funny question that I was asked of someone that was curious what the most popular campus was. I kind of laughed when I saw that because I never really thought of that. That should not matter. Like, come on now. We're all here to be nurses. We're not here for popularity contests. But I'm biased. I like Sun City, the Boswell campus in Arizona. The professors were outstanding. The assistant director, Rob, he will go to bat for you like no one else. That guy needs to be director. He needs to be someone higher up. He needs to get a pay raise. He's amazing. Like, he will go above and beyond for you. I can't tell you how many times this man has been there for us, but he's the best. Also, West Valley, which is the main campus, is good. They have all the main campus professors, and Tucson is great too. All those programs are some of the more well-established programs. They're not brand new, but other programs, like there's one in Albuquerque, Orlando, there's one in Idaho, Missouri. All those are fairly new, so I'd be a little wary of those unless, you can't move out here and don't want to. I know Salt Lake has been around for a little bit, and so is Las Vegas, so they're still good. I just don't know much about them. And I think that's pretty much all the programs. So what clinical sites will you go to? So if you're doing the ABSN program in someplace other than Arizona, I have no clue. You'll get assigned sites. They'll send you an email, tell you what days, times, and places you'll be going to, and that's where you go. After first semester, you'll have like a 3-day period. So let's say you're in second semester. Everyone in your level gets your clinical assignments. You have like 3 days where you can change assignments. You go up to your peers. You're like, hey, I want this day from you. You want this day from me. Let's trade. Or I want your entire schedule and you want my entire schedule. Let's trade. You contact the person in charge of that. They sign off on it and you do that. GCU allows you to do that, and it's great. But in Arizona, it depends on what site you go. If you're at Sun City, there's a good chance you're going to be entirely Banner Health. That's where I was. I didn't know of anyone else going anywhere else. If you're on main campus, I think you go to like Dignity Health and Abrazo and Phoenix Children's. And I think the Chandler campus does that too. But I'm not really sure for anywhere else, but you'll figure that out soon. And that's it. So these are all the questions that I've been asked before. If you think I'm missing some questions that you have, but they're not on here, write them down below in the comments. I answer them pretty much like within a day or two. Every once in a while, one will slip through the cracks and it'll take me a couple days, but I'm very responsive. If you need to call me, my number is 209-704-2604. Really responsive on there too. Preferably text me first, make sure I'm not at work. Otherwise, if you guys need anything, if you need someone that can tutor you, hit me up. I'm more than happy to. Yeah, here for anything else you guys need. I want you all to succeed just like I did. I've been there. I want you guys to get where I'm at now. So anything I can do along the way to help you get there, I'm more than happy to do. All right, y'all. I'll see you at graduation.